Hello and welcome back to English for You. I'm Seb.
I'm Elsie.
So, Elsie, we've finished our book Feed, haven't we?
Yes.
Yes, we got to the very sad ending of the book. We found out that, unfortunately, Violet passed away because of problems with the feed. And I think a lot of people do talk about technology in this way sometimes. You know, when we're talking about technology that we use on our bodies and also certain medicines on our bodies, there are people who are very worried about what that could mean for us later on in life. Could it cause health problems for us like it did for Violet? That's a very big thing to discuss.
Yeah, and actually the book is trying to discuss about these issues with us.
Right. It is kind of going into those issues a bit. We can't really go into, you know, medicine and technology right now. We don't really have time for that right now. But we do have time, as you said, to see how the feed is similar to real life. And that is what our Day 3 article is all about.
Reading.
Feed. Released in 2002, Feed is set in the near future, but contains obvious references to current society. One of the main ideas in the book is the dangers of technology. The story's feed, like our internet, has become a necessary part of life. Thanks to the feed, no one needs to think or learn new things. Most people can't even read or write. Technology may be amazing, but it comes at a price. Another danger in the story is consumerism. The feed is owned and managed by corporations. They control the world while governments are basically powerless. Everything comes from these companies: news, education, even hospitals, and their only goal is to sell products. Another idea in the book is self-discovery. As soon as Titus loses his connection to the feed, he has to think for himself. This allows him to fall in love with Violet and appreciate her unusual qualities. With Violet's help, he's able to ignore the feed and make his own decisions.
So, released in 2002, Feed is set in the near future, but contains obvious references to current society. I guess we're actually in the near future now, if you think about it, from 2002.
Yeah, from 2002 now it's 2020. 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
It's not 2020 yet. We've still got a month left.
So we are actually in the future.
We are in the future. The near future, which is when something is... the future which is only happening in a few years. We're not talking about 100 years' time.
No.
We're talking about 20 years' time.
不久的未来。
Yes.
那这边我们看到一个用法是 be set in something， 这是带出故事啦、电影的时间或是地点的背景。那 feed 这本书的内容呢，设定在不久的未来。那另外我们还看到一个字是 reference， 这个名词呢代表提及、提到。所以故事的内容啊，提及了许多关于 current society 的议题。What is society?
Well, society is all of the people that make up a particular place or country and their rules, beliefs, and culture. So it's a very big thing. Often we use society to talk about the beliefs or people of a specific country. For example, British society is the society in the UK, or we can talk about Taiwanese society here. Let's take a look at an example. After moving to Taipei, Millie struggled to fit into Taiwanese society. Here, Millie is probably not Taiwanese, and she's finding it difficult to adjust to the behaviors and culture of Taiwanese people. There are some other ways that we can talk about society, though. We can talk about high society, which is the elite, posh parts of society. You know, the fancy people with all of the money in their big fancy cars and going to the opera. That's high society. And that is the kind of society we see in our example sentence. When he won the lottery, Adam was launched into high society.
Wow, lucky Adam. 那这边呢 society 刚刚经过 Seb 解释，同学们应该知道了，那它就是社会的意思。So what are some of the references the book contains? The article tells us one of the main ideas in the book is the dangers of technology.
So technology is a noun, and technology is the stuff that humans have created that make our lives easier and more convenient. Now, technology is kind of everything we've made since the beginning of humanity, but technology normally is used to talk about electronics. So you might hear people talking about the tech industry too. Tech, that's spelled T-E-C-H, is a common abbreviation of technology. So the latest technology, that's when we talk about the latest technology, we're talking about the newest kinds of technology or the stuff that's just come out. Or we can also abbreviate it with another abbreviation and talk about high tech, H-I hyphen T-E-C-H. That's an adjective we use to describe something very, very modern or very, very advanced. We can also talk about advances in technology, that's steps forward in technology, or gadget, which is a noun and it's a kind of electronic tool. Now, our example sentence for technology is Tommy loves technology and always buys the latest gadgets.
Technology 代表就是科技啦。那接下来的文章说 ，The story's feed, like our internet, has become a necessary part of life.
It has a necessary part of life. When we talk about something being necessary, that's an adjective. People need it or it is needed to do something. If you're traveling abroad, for example, it's necessary for you to bring your passport. Without your passport, you can't leave the country and you can't go into another one. Now, when something is really necessary, though, we can say that it is vital. It's vital that you take your medicine every day, for example. Now, there are things which aren't needed in life. There are things that we don't need, and we can call those things unnecessary. So, like with a lot of adjectives, we add un to the beginning to mean not necessary. So we have an example sentence now with necessary, and that is Brenda told her employee that it wasn't necessary for him to work past 6 p.m.
那回到故事里面，我们说故事里的这个资讯来源，就这个 feed， 它和我们的网络是一样的，在我们的生活当中是 necessary 必要的、不可或缺的。And then the article says, thanks to the feed, no one needs to think or learn new things. 那这边看到的 thanks to 这个片语代表由于或是多亏，它是一个介系词片语，所以后面记得只能加名词或是动名词。那给同学们一个例句哦 ，Thanks to my neighbor's help, the police located the thief very fast. 多亏我邻居的帮忙，警方很快就查出小偷的位置。那回到课文，我们刚刚说到。再也没有人需要思考跟学习新事物。They don't need to think or learn new things. Is that good?
It sounds very convenient. You don't have to use your brain. You don't have to use a lot of effort to make decisions. But it's kind of bordering on, it's kind of getting into the kind of realm of, you know, like not being a human anymore. In fact, most people can't even read or write. And that is kind of happening a little bit in Asia, isn't it? With writing characters, right?
Yeah,
some people are forgetting how to write. Exactly, forgetting how to write characters. So it's very similar to real life in some ways, isn't it?
Yeah, and all the information they're getting is about fashion and clothing, right? So
which is exactly what I get on my Instagram every morning.
Not much to learn. 那接下来文章说 Technology may be amazing, but it comes at a price.
Right.
那当我们看到这个用法 something comes at a price, 代表某事物的出现是要必须付出大的代价。
Another danger in the story is consumerism. Ooh, that's a difficult word. Consumerism. What does it mean?
Consumerism 代表的是消费主义。那简单来说呢，消费主义就是人们一种毫无顾忌、毫无节制的消耗物质财富和自然资源。那他们觉得消费是一个人生最高的目标，就是 they like to spend money.
Just spend money. Just burn the paper. Burn
Right.
the paper.
And the article says the feed is owned and managed by corporations.
Corporations. So it's managed by corporations. Now, manage is our next vocab word. It's a verb, and when something or someone manages a business or an operation, they control it. The principal of your school, for example, manages it. He makes important decisions about how the school works. We could also say that he runs the school. We can use run not to mean run, but to mean manage. So what do you do? What do you call someone who manages a department or a company? We know the word boss, but we could also call them a manager or even someone who works in management. Management is the work that you do when you are in charge. Now, our example sentence for manage is, since Fred was promoted, he has been managing the sales department.
Corporation 这个字呢是公司或是法人，那这边呢说到这些大公司拥有并经营 feed 这个东西。那接下来呢 ，the article tells us they control the world while governments are basically powerless. Powerless 这个形容词呢，其实是从 power 加上字尾的 less 变过来的。那 power 是能力是力量，加了 less 代表没有力量，也就是无能的。那相反字是 powerful。And
that's another thing which is quite similar to real life. There are some parts of the world where governments have less power and companies have more power. Maybe not powerless, but they definitely have less. Now, our next line in the article is, everything comes from these companies, these corporations, news, education, even hospitals, and their only goal is to sell products. Now, we saw the word education there, which is a noun, and education is the process of learning new things. That can be in school, your school education, or it can be outside of the classroom. When we are educated, that's the verb, educate, we are about something, we can also say that we are getting an education in that thing. We're learning about it. So there's lots of different types of education. We can add adjectives or nouns to the front of education to talk about a specific type. So we have adult education, that is education for people who have already finished school and university. We can talk about sex education, which is education about sex. Higher education, which is college. It's the stuff you do after school. And driver's education, which is when you learn to drive a car. We can also call this driver's ed. Now, we can use the past participle of educate to talk about people who have done a lot of studying in the past as well. We call these people educated people. They have lots of manners and they've got lots of class.
Or well-educated.
Well-educated people as well. So our example sentence for education is, your school education is one of the most important things in your life when you are young.
So in the story, these companies provide everything, 连 education 教育也是他们提供的。They do this because they want to sell their products. Another idea in the book is self-discovery.
Right, self-discovery. We're going to break that word down and we're just going to talk about the second bit, discovery, which is a noun. A discovery is something new that has been found. So many people thought Christopher Columbus made an important discovery when he was the first European to land in the Caribbean, in the center of the Americas. His discovery was a route from Europe to America. So that was a very big discovery. There's another kind of discovery as well, and this one is even bigger. We call this a revelation, and a revelation is when you suddenly notice or realize something really, really big and life-changing, and it makes, it completely changes the way you see the world. We call this a revelation. Now, our example sentence for discovery is, the discovery of penicillin, an important medicine, was one of the most important advances in 20th century science.
所以 discovery 这个名词代表的就是发现，那当然动词形式 why 字尾 y 拿掉 discover 就是动词了。那我们课文当中说到的 self discovery 就是自我发现。
As soon as Titus loses his connection to the feed, he has to think for himself, and suddenly the pattern is broken.
今天的英文练功房呢，要讲到的是 as soon as 的用法。那这个片语呢，它用来连接两个连续发生的动作哦，解释为一点点点就点点点，这什么意思呢？我们来看一个例句吧。As soon as Titus loses his connection to the feed, he has to think for himself. 这个是课本里面出现的。当 Titus 一失去他跟 feed 的连接的时候，他就必须要自己独立思考。那我们补充哦，这个从属连接词 as soon as 后面所引导的副词子句，主词不用跟主要子句的主词相同，但是时态必须一致。所以在课文里面看到的句子，我们的主词是 Titus， 后面的主词是 he， 都是同一个人。然后动作呢，一个是 loses 现在简单式，后面的是 has to， 它也是一个现在简单式。那另外再给同学们一个简单的例句哦，就是 As soon as I got home, the phone rang， 代表我一到家电话就响了。那前后的主词一个是 I， 一个是 the phone。不需要一样，那时态是要一样的。这边的时态用到的是 got 还有 ran 这两个过去简单式。
So once Titus can think for himself, he becomes more human, and I think this is a really important message in the book. Once he becomes a bit more human, he starts to have more human emotions. He starts to become a more natural person. This allows him to fall in love with Violet and appreciate her unusual qualities. That's the next line in the story. So now that he has this freedom, he can fall in love. That implies that in the feed, people on the feed don't really have many feelings for each other. They just think about shopping.
Right, and they don't think for themselves.
Right.
所以这边我们看到 allow somebody to do something 代表的是让某人得以去做某件事情。For example, when I was a child, my mom didn't allow me to watch TV. 我还是小孩子的时候，我妈妈不准我看电视。Did your mom allow you to watch TV when you were little?
She did. Only until 8 p.m. After that, she didn't allow me to watch TV.
I see. 那这边我们还看到一个片语是 fall in love。后面如果要说爱上了谁，那我们就加 with 这个介系词，再带出某个人就可以了。所以开始独立思考的 Titus， 他也因此爱上了 Violet， 而且懂得 appreciate 欣赏他的 qualities 特质。
She's a free spirit, and he really likes that. So with Violet's help, he's able to ignore the feed and make his own decisions, and he is freed. I think we haven't finished the book, we haven't read the book fully, but we can assume that Titus becomes a freer person afterwards because of his experience with Violet. And I think it really changes how he sees the world.
Yeah.
So that is the end of our story and the end of our story article. So we just have time for a quick For You chat question, so let's check that out now.
For You chat.
So our question for today is, do you think you spend too much time on the internet? Why or why not? Who?
Oh, I think I do.
Yeah.
Like you said, you wake up and you check your Facebook. I do the same. And then when I go to work, when I commute to work, when I'm on the MRT, I check my phone again.
Right.
When I go to the bathroom, I check my phone again. And when I check my phone, I'm on the internet.
Exactly. That's why we use our phones, really, to get on the internet. I don't think I spend too much time on the internet. I know I spend too much time on the internet. I think I spend about 3 hours a day.
3 hours a day?
Internet.
That's
Yeah.
not much, right?
It's a lot. Just checking, just like looking at my phone.
Yeah.
If you add it up, if you think about it, that's a long time. Even today I can think, What have I done? I've sent some emails. I've been on social media for a while. I've watched some videos. I've listened to music.
Internet again.
On Spotify. Yeah, that's all things that I've done on the internet just today. And we're filming this at 11 in the morning. So it's still pretty early in the day. So I think I could probably use it less.
Yeah.
I think, like most of the things we do, it's good to have a break sometimes. You know, when you're on vacation, just disconnect from the internet for a while.
Everything.
Yeah, cut it out, enjoy where you are, and when you come back, you can get connected again. I think that's a very good practice to do from time to time.
And you can clear your minds and everything.
Yes. So now that we've finished our story article, it's time for you guys to talk a little bit about what you think about technology. Do you think that social media is having too much influence on our lives now? What's your opinion?
Do you think you're addicted to it?
Yes. Do you think you're an addict? Do you spend too much time on the internet? All of these questions for you to discuss. But for English for You, I'm Seb.
I'm Elsie.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Feed. Released in 2002, Feed is set in the near future, but contains obvious references to current society. One of the main ideas in the book is the dangers of technology. The story's feed, like our internet, has become a necessary part of life. Thanks to the feed, no one needs to think or learn new things. Most people can't even read or write. Technology may be amazing, but it comes at a price. Another danger in the story is consumerism. The feed is owned and managed by corporations. They control the world while governments are basically powerless. Everything comes from these companies: news, education, even hospitals, and their only goal is to sell products. Another idea in the book is self-discovery. As soon as Titus loses his connection to the feed, he has to think for himself. This allows him to fall in love with Violet and appreciate her unusual qualities. With Violet's help, he's able to ignore the feed and make his own decisions.
Vocabulary Review.
Society. Taiwanese society has changed a lot since the late 1980s. Technology. The Internet is a technology that has made life more convenient, but it has also changed our culture. Necessary. Matthew's mom told him that it's necessary to drink lots of water and get enough sleep in order to get well. Manage. Adam took a year off school to go back home and manage his father's business. Education. Ethan didn't go to school. He received his education at home. Discovery. Christopher Columbus's discovery of a passage to the Americas led to big changes to the cultures there.
智慧小补帖
Reference. Consumerism. Corporation.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english www.english4u.net www.english4u.net